Aloha and welcome to Java. It's Thursday, January 25th, 2024. Want to get this out as soon as I can. There's quite a bit going on. We've got risk rising in the markets right now. And even though this relative strength of the dollar and the 10-year yield at the moment are down, we're going to watch some further moves. We've got news incoming. Right now, we've still got a sentiment of greed, green in the stocks as well as the futures. And we've got some kind of few things changing here. So as I'm doing this, we're going to be expecting reports coming out soon prior to market, 8:30 in the morning, core durable goods, the GDP, which we all know is going to be off numbers. They include everything that we are producing for the war machines, ammunition, all of that is included. So we've also got jobless claims coming up at 8:30, which I think is going to maybe give a boost to the market. We'll see, because the higher the jobless claims, then that increases the probability that the Federal Reserve will cut rates soon. So tomorrow morning, prior to market open, we're getting core PCE price. So I put that up here for this so you can build your trades toward the afternoon for tomorrow. So we had the Federal Reserve announce their bank term funding program. They are winding it down. So they're going to hike rates immediately for the banks for that. And then they are going to end it completely on March 11th. So if you're not aware of what this is, this was kind of to boost liquidity to the banks, giving them cash so they could borrow money at lower rates from the Federal Reserve. What they're doing is they're borrowing cheaply and then lending it out at a higher rate. That's how they make monies on that spread. So with this funding program halting, there could be an issue to liquidity. So March 11th, they're closing it completely. And interestingly enough, even though it's the Federal Reserve watching, the European Central Bank is asking lenders to monitor social media for signs of bank runs. So they're concerned about this. They're putting out to all of the banks to watch over social media to see if people are going to withdraw their money. So that's a huge red flag. So we had this is just a short story, but I want to put this in here because I expect this to continue as well. They had a ransomware attack for, this is basically a smaller tech company, but they process the securities lending and trading. So with this one having issues in getting a ransomware attack, there could be issues within the system. So on to our market news. Tesla shares dropped. So Elon Musk came out and said they had a sales growth warning. They are in competition with Chinese electric vehicle firms. And he came out saying that unless they have some trade controls, that the Chinese EV market, basically, their labor is much less expensive as well as their parts. So in the United States, as they're pushing for minimum wage increases, we've got all the United Auto Workers strikes, all of these things going on, pushing up the cost of labor. So it's putting in profit squeezes for the companies. Basically, the Chinese market is going to take over. So overall demand for EVs is dropping, and this is creating a price plunge in lithium, because that's one of the main elements needed for the batteries for these cars. So along with Tesla dropping, we've got Hyundai Motor projecting slower growth in 2024, weak demand, and Ford, they took a $1.7 billion hit in their fourth quarter results. So these are all showing what's actually going on in the economy, because we're still getting stories about how strong it is, how wonderful the economy is. So we have airline companies, American Airlines and Delta, reporting their earnings. They're expected to do well. They've had a large holiday boost in traffic, basically. But going on to the Boeing saga, the FAA has barred them from increasing more MAX planes. However, they are ending the partial grounding. So they've completed the inspections and have said basically that they're okay to fly again. So, but this halt to production is going to hit not just airlines, suppliers goes all the way up the chain. If you remember, I had said before, Boeing is a large enough company that they do affect the actual GDP of the United States. So the number we're going to get this morning is it's lagging. So it won't reflect this. This is moving forward. So we've got China saying Boeing has permission to resume their deliveries. They'll be taking delivery. Alaska, just to show how much it hit them, $150 million in profit that they lost from the groundings. So FAA did a ground halt of all of this model, and Alaska Airlines and United were the largest holders and affected the most from that. So moving forward, oil. So we've got restrictions in supply on oil. It's rising a dollar as the talking about the US crude stock draw, but there's a lot of other things going on as well. They're hoping to boost their market. They're going to do some quantitative easing in China because their stocks took a hit and their economy is having a bit of an issue as well. So what they're doing over there, and this is just one more indicator, but Chinese are starting to purchase Bitcoin. So as it started to fall towards that 40,000 and have a little struggle there in Bitcoin, more Chinese investors, this is saying, are looking for ways to purchase this because they're looking, ironically, at stronger than the property markets or their stock. So moving into different assets, which is what we've been talking about for a long time, physical gold, physical silver, not the ETFs, and also Bitcoin, food, invest in yourself. So we've still got protests going on. French farmers, so they're having similar issues, blocking roads and dumping produce that was purchased in foreign countries. So basically, their costs are increasing. They're being kind of shut out, if you will. And then foreign markets are less expensive, are kind of basically pushing them out of profit. So because of these cheap imports, they say rising costs and red tape through the government, it's cutting their ability to make a living. Moving on to the economy, they were talking about how the economy was healthy, American consumers were spending. Now the stories are coming out that they're not going to save the economy in 2024, and the wild holiday spending spree was basically temporary. It was also bolstered by the buy now, pay later that we were talking about. They cannot continue. So we've got UK retail sales actually took a major hit in January. So fastest pace in 3 years that they have gone down. This is no shock. They couldn't maintain what was going on. And the UK, as I've said before, is kind of moving ahead of what we can expect for the rest of the Western world, Western economies. So we have a lot of unemployment going on. We're getting the numbers in this morning. I think the numbers are skewed, but we are hearing more and more about companies laying off in mass numbers, and the unemployment rate rise is starting to raise alarm bells. But we've talked about this and how it does need to increase further prior to the Federal Reserve cutting rates. So we've got recession alerts going off because they're getting these increase in price. As I said, we still need more to go on this. Basically, higher increase, probably 10% higher unemployment rate from here. So we've got key auto service companies filing for Chapter 7 was a tire service industry, again related to automotive. We've got a lot of the drugstores that are closing. So this is what's going on. We've got small, medium businesses shutting down. So they have to lay off their workers. And this starts that loop that we were talking about. This brings inflation down because people are not spending. But they're denying a recession, but it's already here. We just need to get through it regardless of what they're saying and be ready because buying opportunities are incoming. So if you're thinking of purchasing something larger, whether it's land, property, or a vehicle. Now, property is local, but in general, better deals are incoming. So, saw this post, and this is a movement that is increasing in not just popularity, but also in speed very rapidly. And they're talking about Texas, and it is this secession of the state. There's a lot of turmoil going on the border with the migrant issues and crises going on there. So I just want to bring this up. So I think it's very viable. Anyway, watching again what I'm saying, I'm still under warning. So going on to lava updates, we've got the Associated Press now talking about groundwater depletion accelerating many parts of the world. Again, the water threat. So I think we're under a larger threat of the water supply being poisoned in some manner or having an issue. These circular problems, but they're talking about less water. So still keeping that in the crosshairs, so to speak. So with that, I wish you all a wonderful trading day. And until I see you again, my friends, stay free.